Assalamu alaikum. Getting married can be tough with a lot of obstacles in the way. Staying married isn't always any easier either. Well, at least not staying married with a smile. Today, we are with Dr. Banu Murtaza, Chief Matchmaker and founder of Matchbox, along with her husband, Sidi Nader Khan, to talk about the funny, the not so funny, and even the taboo when it comes to staying married. Our first topic today is where to find a spouse.
Please start.
Where'd you find a spouse?
Well, I think we're living in a world where it's more about how than where, just because of everything that's being interconnected, like social media. But I mean, I guess it depends on the person, right? I mean, if you're a gym rat, maybe you might run into somebody at the gym. If you're out grocery shopping every Wednesday night, maybe you might run into somebody grocery shopping on Wednesday night. Maybe you have maybe you can sign on to Matchbox and you'll be introduced to somebody. Maybe maybe you're at a wedding and somebody's auntie's neighbor sees you and decides to hook you up with somebody else.
I think you've been a bit utopian about it though, because I think we've made it really tough.
Oh, sure.
I think there's a lot of people that even if they do see other Muslims in the environment that they're in, whether it's work, whether it's gym, whether it's wherever, they really struggle to actually even have that conversation because we really, we've kind of become quite mean to one another.
We fear rejection. We fear being posted about on social media. Oh my God, what this guy just did today, right? So I mean, there's all of these other inhibitions, right?
So then, how do you stop that? Is the question, surely?
And often, I mean, there's this other thing of you're giving so much thought to where to meet the right person that you overlook what's already in front of your eyes. Right.
That kind of sounds like a Hollywood plot line.
Hey.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, to be honest though, are you really expecting some guy at the grocery store to come up to a sister and just be like, hey, let's get married?
Well, so, I mean,
hey, what's your wali? Who's your wali?
I've had that question.
Right. And
I wasn't married at the time.
Good.
And I was at an Islamic conference, but I literally had somebody come up to me and say, what's your wali's number? And I looked at him and I was just like,
it's a
why?
Good pickup line.
And he said, because I want to have a conversation with him. And he was very serious, legit. I mean, to be fair, the guy was like a decade younger than I was. And I was in my 20s, so he was...
10? He was 10 years old.
To be fair,
he was a teen. Yeah. I was cradle snatching. So I kind of just looked at him and
That's what I'm accused of these days.
That's because you have cradle snatched. You've seen his white hair. Married to an old man, life is hard, people.
So tell us about the 10-year-old.
Well, I mean, I said to him, the thing was, he actually came. We were at a retreat, and we were in the computer room of this retreat. So we were all emailing, and everybody was really quiet, right? So then he came and he asked me this, and it was like everybody stopped typing, and I felt really awkward. But at the same time, I really understood that this guy had just really put himself out there, put himself on the line, and so I looked at him, and then I had a piece of paper in front of me, so I drew a picture of a really big person and then a really little person, and then I said you and me, because I asked him, how old are you? And he told me, and then I went, this is you and this is me, to kind of say to him, I'm much older than you. And he was like, no, that's okay. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was 15 years younger than Sayyidah Khadija. Yeah. And I thought, man, I've got so much respect for you right now. And so I didn't want to, upset him or shut him down in front of everybody. So I kind of took him to the side and I just said, look, I really don't think it would be feasible, because he was in his teen years. I mean, it was late teens. He was in 18, 19 sort of thing. But even so, he was...
It takes courage.
But it takes courage. And I don't think that I see a lot of people now, and they don't necessarily have that sort of
Do you think it's because they're they're afraid to be rejected?
The vulnerability, is it more of a question of vulnerability versus...
I think in part it's vulnerability. I think it's in part we don't even know. There's all we now have this thing about roles as well. You know, who asks who? Does the guy ask the girl? Does the girl ask the guy? Does the guy go up to the girl when she's on her own? Does the guy go up to the girl when, you know, is that even legit? Is it even halal? How is it halal? What are all the, you know, and it's like,
Like taking advantage of vulnerability, there's all of that, right?
So,
like, is this the appropriate time to ask? You know, is this appropriate, circumstances to ask under?
And in part, I think it's also because we don't really work on gender relations in teenage years.
Right.
And young, you know, when you're younger and you're not in that place where you're ready to get married, and we don't really, it's like, don't talk to boys, don't talk to boys, don't talk to boys, don't talk to boys.
Married.
Why aren't you married yet?
So is that a cultural thing though? Do we have cultural norms that
Maybe.
exasperate that? Because not all cultures have that, right?
I don't know. Maybe it's a cultural thing. But to be fair, it's not, I've not noticed for my Somali clientele or my African American clientele or my indigenous clientele or my, you know, Desi clientele or Arab clientele. I've not noticed that the Arab community is a little bit more, I think maybe there's some more linkages, and so there's a lot more sort of networking, and there seems to be a little bit more fluidity in terms of the way in which marriage is approached.
That's been your experience with Matchbox?
In my experience in Matchbox. But I haven't noticed a difference. Like, I haven't noticed a difference in the ethnicities of my clients saying, well, I actually find it really easy, and I've talked to loads of girls, or I've talked to loads of guys about getting married. All of our clients seem to say, you know, yeah, I interact with non-Muslims all the time, I interact with some Muslims all the time, but in my circle, I don't have people who I can get married to, sort of thing. And there's no way for me to go beyond my present network to find people to get married. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it can be a challenge.
And there's a lot more now mainstream attention on it as well. Like, we've had a couple of mainstream newspapers and people and you know, media outlets now reach out of, oh, are Muslims using dating apps, and you know, what does this happen? Because the thing is, we have technology at the tip of our fingers. People don't know how to physically now interact or in person interact with people in an appropriate manner.
And social media sort of brings out a different side of you, I suppose, like less inhibited.
Right.
And that has its own complications.
Right. And now, if there's no other service available, why not go to an app sort of thing? But, you know, one of the reasons we did set up Matchbox was because actually apps are really quite superficial. Or it felt quite superficial, this whole swipe right, swipe left stuff. Not, you know, if it works for you, but it also didn't really seem legit either. There was a lot of people getting hurt a lot.
Yeah, it's also like very dismissive, right? I don't like the way this person looks. You know, dismiss, right? It's very much superficial, like you said.
Judging a book by its cover.
Right, absolutely. And I think, like, you know, as we began the topic about where do you look, I think really it comes down today to how do you look, how do you find,
Exactly.
instead of where.
So if you were to give some you know, top 3 suggestions that answer the how as well as the where, what would you recommend?
The top one, work for me, ask Allah.
Obviously, that worked for you.
I'm telling you.
Yes, I am your blessing from God. Appreciate me more.
No doubt.
But I think one of my hows would be, don't let fear inhibit you. Like, if you legitimately think that there is a potential to speak, like somebody has potential to be a marriage partner, approach them. Be an adult. You would approach people for anything else. I think we have somebody from the audience that wants
Yes.
to.
Sorry to interrupt, Assalamu alaikum.
No,
I would definitely second that. From my own personal experience, I found that there was a potential in a person that I could be potentially, you know, happy with. I did not let the age, I did not let the gender get in the way, and I approached the guy, and now I'm happily married for 10 years with this person. So I definitely would second that, and that's a really good question that you posed, that if you could give us, you know, some tips and places even, I'm not quite sure of the places, but like even tips And you mentioned the fair. Definitely, like I would second that to whoever is listening right now. Do not let that get in the way. You know, if you completely firmly believe in what is in front of you is good for you, then definitely consult Allah and then approach.
And I think, thank you, Barakallah fikum. I think the other thing is, this you sort of expect to meet somebody, having sparks fly, have that Bollywood moment, and then fall in love, and then like think, okay, I'm in love with this person, now I want to get married. I think it seems to me, and what Matchbox does is very effectively. And what we did was, what you want to do is you want to see if there's enough of a foundation on which you build the edifice of love, rather than find love and then live in it. But what you're doing, like your marriage for the rest of your life, is you're building this edifice. And what you want to do is figure out if there's enough of a foundation between the two of you that will withstand how big an edifice you're building, right? And I think that's the paradigm that we need to go into this with, rather than expect to have like crash in the hallway, books fall off, you bend down to pick up the books, eyes meet, hey, right? Instead of that, I think.
Likely not going to happen, and probably might get you arrested. You started doing that in the middle of campus.
But, and I also I think my last point would be to just not, we're entering into this kind of era, or we are in this era of everybody wants to break down all these barriers, and everybody wants to break down all the, the right way to do things and all the rest of it. But the reality is that we, across the board, have made marriage really tough. We've just, and it doesn't need to be. The world does not end if somebody says, I'm really sorry, I'm already married, or I'm really sorry, I don't want to get married to you. That the world will not end, And so if you have that conversation, just like the sister from the audience said, if you approach somebody, and if that person had said no, then I'm sure she'd still have been sat here today. She wouldn't have gone and slit her wrists for never having spoken to a dude, but then all of a sudden spoken to him and he said no. But it might have felt uncomfortable for 5 minutes or a day or a week. Or you could be married for 10 years. And that's the thing is, I think we make it really, really tough.
Absolutely.
And I've had clients at conventions kind of go, I saw somebody I was really interested in, but I didn't go and speak with her, or I didn't go and speak with him. And I've gone, okay, point them out to me. And I've gone up to them and gone, excuse me, are you married? and they're like, no. It's like, okay, great, because I think we can really help you. Because at the end of the day, I don't have anything to lose because I'm not asking for myself. But at the same time, I don't think they would have had anything to lose had they done it directly either. So, and then finally, I know I said finally before.
Oh, I have
would
a
say,
couple of more finalies, but go on.
I would say, we get professionals involved in every stage of our lives.
Yes.
We get professionals involved when we're looking for houses. We get professionals involved when we're looking for careers. We get professionals involved even when we want health benefits and all the rest of it, right? So in some of the most intimate moments of our life, we have professionals involved. Why don't we have why is there a reluctance to get professionals involved when it comes to finding you a marriage partner? If you can go to a professional for everything else, then surely you can go to a professional to help you find somebody. And we're just professional networkers. That's all we are.
Right.
I think a couple of more points to what you just said about making it more difficult. There's a couple of things that right off the top of my head that come to me is this needless stigmatizing of certain things, like somebody hasn't been married until they're in their late 30s, early 40s. So what? Somebody is a widower, somebody's a widow, somebody's been divorced. So what? Somebody has had a bit of a background and they're recommitting to Islam, right? So there's all of these stigmas that go with it, which really don't need to be there. And then the other thing is there's these artificial, arbitrary barriers. I know couples who got married in high school, right? Why? Because why not, right? Why not? And they're happy and they're still married and they're now they're a couple of years younger than me, and they're 30 years married now, They're going strong, mashallah, right? So why not? Why do we have to wait until you've done your PhD and you've landed a six-figure salary until you get married? Because what? You know what? You get married 2 days later, God forbid, something happens, you can no longer do your work. What then?
No. PhDs make better wives.
Yes. No, but like you see my point, right? Like,
That's going to be debated
but like,
another time.
what
Yes.
if the safe option doesn't work, right? You married somebody who's set, their career is great, they're making a lot of money, and you're like, oh, I landed somebody really good. 2 days later, something happens. They're no longer
You're
the
touching
person.
on some really important points. I think we can save for another podcast.
Absolutely.
But those are really, really critical things to think about. So don't focus on the where as much as the how. Definitely have a bit of confidence. Look for professionals. Don't feel like you have to kind of have this thing kind of hanging over you on your own, and be brave, and be open and be a little bit vulnerable, and just most importantly, pray to Allah, make dua.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Absolutely. Jazakumullahu khair.
Barakallahu feekum.
Thank you.